Hear that? Yeah, that's the sound of you relaxing, because now you're managing diabetes with the Freestyle Libre 3 system. You get to know your glucose levels and where it's headed. Manage your diabetes with more confidence with the Freestyle Libre 3 system. Ready to learn more about the #1 prescribed CGM in the U.S.? Visit freestylelibre.us to learn more. Based on retail sales data for patients' last full prescription by manufacturer. Refer to the FLAIR NL4 study published in BMJ Open Diabetes Research and Care 2019. Safety info found at freestylelibre.us.
On October 20th, 1991, at 2:53 in the morning local time, an earthquake occurred at the Garhwal Himalayas in northern India. This was the deadliest earthquake in the Himalayan region since 1950 and the first of the major earthquakes to strike the Indian subcontinent in the 1990s. Hi, I'm Chris May, host of This Day in Weather History, a podcast from the Weather Network in Canada. Earthquakes happen fast and without warning. When they hit hard, they can strip away any feeling of security among all living creatures. And that was certainly the case back on October 20th of 1991 in Uttarkashi, India. This day in weather history. India boasts a national population of 1.35 billion people as of 2018 numbers, but that equates out to 455 people per square kilometer. If you suddenly and violently shake the earth beneath their feet, this is going to cause utter pandemonium. The area directly affected by this earthquake had a population of about 307,000, spread out among 1,300 villages. With this population density, only bad can come from a natural phenomenon like this. In all, 768 people were killed with another 5,066 injured. It was damaging as well. As many as 90,000 homes had been damaged, of which 20,000 were fully and 70 were partially damaged. So how hard did this thing shake? The magnitude of the earthquake was assigned a 6.1 by the Indian Meteorological Department based on body wave data, but the USGS assigned a surface wave magnitude of 7.1. So obviously there was some disagreement. The epicenter was arrived at by surveying the damage pattern and is believed to have been somewhere between Uttarkashi and the Bhatwari region. Uttarkashi is geographically located in the main alpine Himalayan belt, and that happens to be one of the most earthquake-prone regions on planet Earth. Why is that? Get this. Because of pressure between two naturally occurring and constantly intersecting landmasses. You see, the Indian plate continues to force its way up and under the Eurasian plate at a rate of about 50 millimeters per year. Yes, it is the Earth alive and well and in constant motion. So this area suffers what's called crustal instability. Literally, with these two plates in a perpetual car crash, the actual crust that we all walk on and build on and drive on is unstable. Crustal instability. Sounds far out, right? It can be. The intensity of shaking was registered as violent with a maximum measurement of 9 on the modified Mercalli scale. As a result, damage to rural dwellings was extensive in areas of maximum shaking. But keep in mind, rural homes, by definition here, are made up of random rubble stone masonry supporting a much heavier roof. This is a recipe for disaster. We did a story back on the 17th of October here on This Day in Weather History, dealing with earthquake building codes and how they were so cost prohibitive to undertake. There was a holy disaster when a 7.1 shook San Francisco and decimated the Marina District and the state's finances. Same story here, but to a much greater degree given the greater population density paired with the far more primitive building measures that were already in place. As a result, even in the most developed areas, most privately owned buildings and older government-owned buildings were never built or adjusted for seismic provisions. Plus, roads in the area were extensively damaged due to failure of slopes, retaining walls, and bridges. Numerous massive landslides took place, especially along a 42-kilometer stretch between Uttarkashi and Bhatwari, an area that experienced some of the most intense shaking. These landslides damaged numerous electric and telephone poles. leaving the area beyond Bhatwari without power or telephone for 10 days after the earthquake. With so many roads damaged or wiped out, rescue and relief efforts became extremely difficult. Immediate rescue was provided by the army and paramilitary forces. It was chaos following the Uttarkashi earthquake that took place on October 20th of 1991, this day in weather history. Tomorrow is October 21st, and for this we continue our October Fall Classic Special, looking at how the weather played a role in the World Series. Tomorrow we see how the Marlins of Miami, Florida, dealt with the extreme cold and snow in Cleveland, Ohio. Oh, you're gonna love this on this day in weather history with me, your host, Chris May.